Well, right now you're looking at the Uganda Premier League transfer season. It's really heating up so big. It's like suddenly everyone just got money. Clubs are making moves left, right, and center. Let's get to know what this is all about.
Yeah, obviously the season ended, and every time the
Yeah.
season ends, the soccer season ends, the transfer season begins. So football is a game of seasons. There is the action season and then the transfer season. But before we talk into the transfers, of course, as Mark would like to congratulate the three teams which have been promoted from the big league to the Uganda Premier League. That is Calvary FC, which is from Yumbe district. Apparently, it's a Christian-backed team.
Okay.
So I think they'll be having some divine presence in the league. Hopefully, they can come and enthrall us and stay in the Premier League, because you don't want a team to be promoted and then it just plays one season and then goes back to the FUFA big league. So we have Calvary there, and then we have Buhimba Saints United, a team which is from Chikube district. Chikube was carved out of Hoima district.
Okay.
So Buhimba Saints will be playing in the Uganda Premier League next season. Congratulations to Buhimba. And then the third team will be Gaddafi. Gaddafi were in the league. They got relegated, came back. They're being backed by UPPC. And apparently at the next FUFA AGM, a word on the grapevine is that FUFA are going to endorse Gaddafi to change their name to UPPC, because the FUFA AGM is one which is empowered to make that decision. So you're going to have three teams which are going to change the complexion of Uganda Premier League football next season. Hopefully those three can stay in the top flight, because you know that getting up there is easy, staying there is the challenge.
Yeah.
But talking transfers, again, there's nowhere to start than...
Who do you think is shopping smart, though, when it comes to the transfers?
Good question. Obviously, let me start with the champions, Vipers, because by winning the Uganda Premier League and the Uganda Cup, Vipers right now want to impose themselves on continental football, because they have nothing to prove in Uganda football. They were heads and shoulders above everyone else. They dominated the league, dominated the cup, but now the challenge for Vipers and the Vipers management and their coaches and their owner, Dr. Lawrence Mulindwa, is whether they can transfer that dominance to the continent, because when AC Villa were the best club in Ghana football, Villa were one of the best club sides in African football. Villa reached the finals of the 1991 Club Championship, Africa Club Championship. They lost to Club Africain in the final. I think it was 7-3 on aggregate. And then the following year, they lost to Shooting Stars of Nigeria in the CAF Cup final. That team was being backed by the then Nigerian billionaire Abiola.
Okay.
So AC Villa were really formidable. In 1993, when they exited to ASEC Mimosa, it was not because ASEC beat them. It was because AC Villa had no funds to play in the return leg in Ivory Coast to honor their second leg. So Villa were really formidable. Express were very formidable. In 1995, they came within a blunder by the goalkeeper Abu Chigenyi of making it to the final of the club championship, which eventually moved into the CAF Champions League. And then, of course, we saw KCC also doing very well in Africa. They reached the semi-finals in 1997. I think they were beaten by Esperance, if my memory serves me right. So the big challenge for Vipers is whether they can transfer that dominance onto the continent. And one of the ways of doing it, obviously, Mulindwa is being very aggressive in the market. He thinks that all the best players in the league should be at Chitende. And right now, we have gotten to know that he's actively pursuing the signature of John Patrick Akande, who's been one of the best creative midfielders in the league, one of the best players in the league. He's also part of the Chan team. Kakande is quite effective as a creator, as a goal scorer. He's got a fantastic low center of gravity. He's got wonderful vision. He can beat his man. He can play on either side of the midfield. He can play in the middle. So he's the sort of player. I mean, if you had a Vipers with John Patrick Akande and Alan Okelo on the same team, not so many teams are going to manage to contain that firepower. So Vipers are aggressively chasing his signature, and Lawrence Monindo rarely fails. Dr. Monindo rarely fails when he set his sights on a player. I know SVL have done whatever they can in their powers to dissuade Kakande from signing elsewhere, but of course, Haj Umar Mandela's approach tends to differ from so many other people who've got his bottomless pits of money. So the billionaire he is, oddly, prefers to build the team. He wants to build the team from scratch and maintain a core team of players to grow them into champions. Whereas Monindo is going to he wants to buy the best players. He thinks if there's a player at KCC who is very good and who has entered some kind of contractual dispute, Monindo is going to.
So the other one grooms, and then this one wants to poach.
Yeah, he wants to poach. So listen, depending on which side of the fence you sit, both models work. I tend to prefer the model of building because it's more sustainable. But someone will tell you that even at Chitende, you could make the case that Vipers, they can also build because they've got the feeder club, that is the school, and they've got very many players. Actually, there are two twins, George Waswa and George Kato, who are students of Chitende, who've been recruited by Maokota in the Masaza Cup. Maokota is one of the Sazas competing in the Masaza Cup, which is the county competition in the Uganda Kingdom. By that Chitende, and if they develop as organically as I think they will, then it's just a matter of time before they become players at Vipers, because Chitende tends to, most of the players from Chitende, the school, end up at Vipers. They only leave Vipers when they cannot get playing time because Monindo has bought some of the very best players in the league. So John Patrick Kakande, if he's acquired by Vipers, he'll be a very big acquisition for them. AC Villa are also losing Ronald Sechiganda. Apparently APR leading the rest to sign him. If Sechiganda goes to APR, then he wants to compete in the CHAN, because that will mean that he's not attached to any domestic club. Like I said, CHAN is a tournament for home-based players. So wait and see. Obviously, AC Villa have got no coach right now. The Chiria speculation, Ibrahim Chiria speculation hasn't yet materialized, but apparently I think there's been some kind of preliminary engagements between him and Haj Umar Mandela for him to come and steer the club in the interim until they get they appoint a coach. Like I told you, Sabian Nemanja Milicic came and left without exactly putting pen to paper. The other interesting deal involves Herbert Achai. Herbert Achai was made at KCC. A kid was groomed at Lugogo, and he promised to be the next best thing in among the fullbacks in Ugandan football.
How long
Eventually, a couple of years ago, Herbert Achai has been there. It was one of the kids who was growing along when KCC was ushering in the Alan Okellos and the Julius Pilotos of this world. Eventually, he was poached by Express last season, but apparently right now he's going back to KCCA. He turned down the chance to sign for NEC. I think apparently NEC were offering him 30 million shillings to sign for them. NEC were the team which finished behind Vipers in the league.
Okay.
But Achai has been convinced by KCC to go back to the club which made him, and it pays to know that it's good to know that there's some players who are still loyal in Ugandan football, because right now we have a monster in the game called sign-on fee, and some of the figures which the players are commanding in today's age are quite obscene. You have players who are getting sign-on fees of 50 million shillings, 60 million shillings. Now, when you go across the region, if players are signing for Yanga, players are signing for Simba, for Vita, they're attracting sign-on fees in $40,000, $30,000. So
that's a lot of money.
There's some very good money in today's age, unlike in the years gone by when arguably more talented players, the Majid Musis of this world and the Edgar Watsons, never commanded the kind of monies the players of today's age are making. So those are the times, even globally. Diego Maradona, one of the best players in the world, never earned the kind of money Wayne Rooney earned, and yet Wayne Rooney's talent wouldn't fit in Maradona's non-kicking foot, which is the right leg. So it's the same thing with Ghana football today. NEC, again, have been very active. NEC, the team which finished second, the team which came within a whisker of getting Achai but failed. They're getting Mustafa Chiza, a player who came within a whisker of signing for Vipers. Actually, the story goes that Mustafa Chiza was supposed to have been unveiled on the very day Vipers unveiled Alan Okello. But somehow he was convinced by KCC to go back to the club which made him, and he dissuaded him. I have been told from sources close to Mustafa Chiza that is his biggest regret. He wishes he had signed for Vipers because
yes.
you see the kind of season Alan has had at Vipers. Alan was given quite a hefty briefcase by Dr. Mulindwa. Because for Mulindwa, getting the signing, the dream pairing of Mustafa Chiza and Alan Okello in a press photograph was going to be the kind of thing he dreams of, because it was going to be it was going to give him the kind of egoistical satisfaction of getting one of our cases here. Because the fact of the matter is that for a long time, for the last 6 or 7 years, the rivalry between in Uganda football has been Vipers and KCCA, and not any other team. So Mustafa Chiza right now is signing for NEC. So Achai's rejection of NEC has profited Mustafa, who's going to be at NEC. NEC obviously are going to compete in continental football next season, and they've got to bolster Mustafa's experience everywhere. He's played in Europe, he's played in the US with Montreal. He was once coached by Thierry Henry at Montreal Impact.
Wow.
And he'll be bolstering a team which came with this close to winning the Ghana League. And Joseph Seramba, a fantastic midfielder from Chigezi Homeboys. He's also signing for NEC. So NEC are going to be rivaling Vipers. You think because Hussein Malongo wants to go one better than he did this season. He finished second. He thinks with 1 or 2 more acquisitions, NEC can actually win the Holy Grail, which is the Uganda Premier League next season. So that's it from the biggest news in the Uganda Premier League transfers. And on Mark to Mark, we shall keep you posted with all the major developments as and when they happen.
Wow, thank you so much, Mark, for that informative news about the UPL